Goku and Vegeta are trying to go beyond Super Saiyan Blue, with Gohan trying to ascend Super Saiyan 4 and Super Saiyan 5. We also got to see what future Gohan's up to, so what happens next? We'll be covering that and more in this 10th part of What If Saiyan Tails Grew Back. Future Gohan, Shin, and Kibito get to work and try and figure out what Zamasu's true plans were because they got some info from him, but they don't have the full picture. And then eventually, they travel into the past in order to warn everyone there. And naturally, when Gohan visits this timeline, he's not just going to be there to warn them. He's interested in seeing how everything's changed here, and it's a good opportunity to get to see these people again. Goku, Piccolo, and of course everyone else who's died, not to mention the past version of Gohan. So they do spend some time catching up, and future Gohan actually wants to test the power of the Gohan here. They have fought different villains here, and recently Gohan fought Frieza who showed up on Earth, and future Gohan knows nothing about Frieza. And they might have even gone down different paths in terms of strength. Future Gohan also learns of the existence of Super Saiyan 3, and now they're calling Wrathful Super Saiyan Super Saiyan 4. Not that he uses that form much anymore anyways, because now he has his ultimate form. He showcases that, and then present Gohan shows off Super Saiyan 5, the evolution of Super Saiyan 4. The two have a pretty brief battle. Future Gohan has grown considerably in terms of strength. Actually, right now the two of them are pretty much dead even with these forms. Ultimate is really potent, especially on someone like Gohan, and they didn't even know about the ultimate form here. Yeah, it turns out there's a Supreme Kai trapped in the Z-Sword. By the way, when this is all happening, Beerus is here on Earth too. And he learns that Elder Kai's been freed in the future, and now everyone knows Elder Kai's still trapped in the Z-Sword here. Great, they're probably going to try and free him, aren't they? Whatever, it's not his problem. Although future Gohan also gets to meet Beerus for the first time. He's heard about him and knows that here, he came to Earth because he was looking for a rival, learning about the godly forms and such. Of course, the Gohan in this timeline doesn't have godly ki and is not the rival to Beerus, but since Gohan is the strongest in the future, it looks like he's probably going to end up being Beerus' rival, so at least he has good knowledge about what's going to happen next. And Beerus gives him a tip for his future self, telling him about the Super Saiyan God ritual, or if that's not going to work, how to unlock it through training. Normally he'd be pretty mad about the time travel, but they are coming here to warn him about a god that's going to kill other gods, so he'll let it slide. Plus, he's not too concerned about what happens with his future self, but he can at least help him out by giving him a new rival. They thank future Gohan for his help, and he returns back to his timeline. So, present Zamasu is prevented from doing anything. Naturally, about a year down the road, the Tournament of Power is going to be planned. Of course, there's only one Zeno, so there's not going to be an exhibition match or anything, but this won't change the fact that the tournament's going to happen because he saw the Universe 6 tournament, and he's interested in that. Especially without another Zeno, he'd probably get bored even sooner than normal. But whenever the Super Dragon Balls recharge, that's when he does it. So now Universe 7 needs a team of 10. Well, they have Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Gohan, Krillin, Roshi, Tien, Goten, Trunks, and now they need a 10th person. It's kind of hard because they don't have the androids here, and they could recruit Yamcha, but they didn't even consider him originally, so they're probably not going to consider him here. Although, before they even think of the idea of considering him, Goku has a suggestion. Why not revive an old enemy? That wouldn't work out. He doesn't suggest Frieza because he never fought Frieza and doesn't really know anything about him. Goku has no interest in him. Buu is far too uncontrollable, so that's not a good idea either. Likely when he was killed, the people he absorbed were separated from him, and now he's back to that fat Buu. Actually, what they don't know is that he turned into Kid Buu, if anything, which would be even more terrible as a pick. But Goku actually does have someone in mind. Someone who's powerful, someone who shows promise, and, even though he's evil, he's at least not a tyrant like Frieza, or a destructive monster like Buu. He wants to revive Cell. They think he's crazy, of course, but this would probably be more acceptable than Frieza, if anything. Goku's thought process is that Cell's a lot like them. He likes the thrill of battle. He'd probably agree to this, and if he does cause any trouble, they could definitely just defeat him right after. Actually, they don't even need to revive him fully. They could just get Baba to bring him back for 24 hours. They're still not really too sure on it, but Goku thinks that they need the strongest people possible because they don't know what they're truly up against. So reluctantly they agreed to it, and Goku goes to Otherworld to recruit Cell. Thankfully he did get to keep his body here. Of course, he's in hell. He's been doing a lot of mental training, and he's grown. For the first time in a while, Goku meets Cell again. And Cell doesn't hesitate at all. He agrees to the fight. It sounds like fun. Like a much bigger, more chaotic version of the Cell games. Imagine how fun it will be to fight people from other universes. Not to mention, it's an opportunity for Cell to grow. Maybe he can absorb power from some people and grow even stronger that way. So, Cell's gonna join under two conditions. First, he gets revived after. Alright, Goku agrees to that. He doesn't really have any plans afterwards and didn't even expect to get revived, but cool. The second condition, he wants to fight Goku and he wants to fight Gohan. So, I guess that's 3 conditions. Well, Goku's ready for that. They have their first battle right here. Cell showcases Super Saiyan 4. Now, he hasn't done much physical training because he's been kind of just locked up in hell. I'd imagine him be like Frieza, but at least he's gotten mental training done. So he has grown significantly stronger. But remember, he doesn't have Frieza as part of his DNA here, so it's not like he has that insane potential. But he is technically a hybrid Saiyan in a way, so maybe he would still have some great potential. I don't know for sure, but I don't think it would be as insane as you'd expect. Goku shows off his own Super Saiyan 4, which Cell's surprised to see. He knows Vegeta had it, but of course Goku would eventually find out how to get it too. The two fight and Goku ends up winning. This is more impressive than Goku thought because his Super Saiyan 4 is way more powerful now thanks to Godly Ki. So, of course, this isn't his strongest form by any means, but The fact that Cell's even close to this level, that's pretty impressive. And he's only going to grow even stronger the more he fights in the tournament, and with the more power he absorbs, because that's what he plans to do. Cell returns to the living world, greeting everybody, and tells Gohan he expects to fight him soon. He wants to have a rematch with him, and maybe even Vegeta as well. But why specifically him? Well, he remembers fighting future Gohan. He knows of course he's not in this timeline anymore, but Gohan interested him. There was something about his power that intrigued Cell more than Goku or Vegeta even though Vegeta was the final nail in the coffin for him. He'll get to fight all of them eventually, so he doesn't even really mind. And Vegeta's not too concerned. Of course, now they know that Cell's going to be revived after this because Goku agreed to it, but it shouldn't be a problem. If he causes issues, they could just defeat him right away. The tournament begins, and they didn't realize that Universe 7 was a lot stronger than they thought, at least in comparison to the other universes. They actually could have just gotten Yamcha in place of Cell. Not that they realized that beforehand, but it was better to be safe than sorry with the entire universe on the line. Actually, all the universes on the line. The same rules apply here, of course. The reason being, Goku and Vegeta have achieved a new level of power. They have found out how to combine Super Saiyan 4 with Blue, creating what they call Wrathful Blue, but they don't really have an opportunity to use it just yet. Right now they just mostly stick with Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan Blue, sometimes Wrathful God, just using it as an in-between. They have a lot of forms to cycle through, which is great. It lets them retain power better, and Cell of course watches them the entire time, trying to figure out if he could do something similar like that. But also he has his eyes on Gohan. Vegeta didn't get to fight Kappa before, so he actually goes to fight the Universe 6 Saiyans, just to see what they're made of. Kappa spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to access Super Saiyan, and eventually he did get it, which means Caulifla and Kale have it too, although Kale's is pretty weird. So Vegeta fights the Universe 6 Saiyans, enjoying this battle, also intrigued by Kale's specific form. Meanwhile, this gives Goku some time on his own, and eventually he finds Jiren, deciding to fight against him. Goku cycles through all his forms, and eventually showcases Wrathful Super Saiyan Blue, aka Wrathful Blue. It's a massive increase in power. Not only does it have a boost from the power of Wrathful, but the limit-breaking properties of Super Saiyan 4 actually add on top of this. That's part of why the form is so potent. For reference, Goku's base definitely would be stronger here, even without having fought against Zamasu or anything. So combine that with the fact that he has this brand new form that's incredibly powerful, he's actually able to put up a pretty good fight against Jiren. Meanwhile, Gohan ends up fighting against Toppo. Gohan hasn't gone beyond Super Saiyan 5 just yet, so that's what he uses to fight against Toppo, and he actually defeats him pretty easily. The two have a mutual respect for each other. You know, they're both superheroes after all. But Toppo could tell that Gohan's hiding more power. He was going to try and go back and get Super Saiyan 3, and then work on an eventual Super Saiyan 6, but there's something deeper that he wants to unlock. He's been so focused on his Saiyan side that he forgot about his human side. He has a feeling that there's something locked away deeper within him, and if he unlocks this, it'll be his strongest form ever. But that remains to be seen. And of course, Cell's watching this entire fight, intrigued by Gohan's power. Cell spends some time fighting too, and a lot of opponents go after him so he doesn't even really need to try. And he tries to copy techniques from people. Some of them have pretty interesting powers, so he tries to utilize those for himself. And one way he could do that pretty easily is just by absorbing their power, basically absorbing their DNA into his. But one universe in particular interests him, Universe 3, full of mechanical beings. This obviously has his name written all over it. He is the perfect android after all, so he kinda has to prove that to this universe. So he fights against the people in Universe 3, with Gohan also fighting against some Universe 3 warriors, and eventually that leads Cell and Gohan to fighting together. And Cell reminds Gohan, after this they're gonna have a rematch. He wants to see that Super Saiyan 5 form put to use. Gohan could tell that Cell is a lot stronger than before, but still not on his level, and he asks Cell if he's really sure about that. And besides, if he plans on destroying Earth or anything, he's not gonna let it happen. Cell says Gohan hasn't changed. There's nothing to worry about. He's just focused on the thrill of battle here. Well, Gohan's focused on the entire universe being at stake. Universe 3's warriors eventually merge, creating Aniraza. Gohan and Cell fight him together. Piccolo joins the battle too, with Cell eventually figuring out that he should attack that weak point on his head. So Gohan goes into Super Saiyan 5, jumping up in the air, and performing a special beam cannon. And he's defeated with Universe 3 being erased. They're coming to see now that they didn't really need to revive Cell, but hey, of course Cell's not going to complain about this. As for the fight with Jiren, Goku pushes him into his full power, and it's actually giving him a challenge in Wrathful Blue. But Vegeta joins in too because he of course wants to fight Jiren, showcasing his own version of Wrathful Blue. The two of them are pretty much dead even right now in terms of power, and with them fighting together, Jiren can't handle it. They would prefer fighting Jiren alone, but they're going to have to break their limits before they do that. Which of course is the point of this entire tournament for them. So for the first time in a while, the two Saiyans fight together, fighting in perfect synergy, and with great power behind it of course. Together they're able to defeat Jiren, and slowly the rest of the other universes are eliminated, with Universe 7 being the victor. Gohan's probably going to end up being MVP because he's not eliminated, and he got a lot of eliminations. Plus, he was probably selected as team leader in this scenario too. And I feel like he would make the same wish to revive all the other universes. He saw that there were a lot of other good people in this tournament, and it's not right to just let them be erased. There's other warriors with families just like him, and principles just like his too. And with him being a superhero, it's only right for him to bring them back. As a gift, instead of using the Dragon Balls, Beerus has Whis revive Cell. viewers actually find Cell pretty interesting, wondering if maybe he could be a good motivator for Goku and Vegeta because they're getting really strong and he doesn't want them getting too cocky. Plus, Cell's not a major threat because not only is his power lower than Frieza's, but unlike Frieza, they're not too concerned about him trying to take over planets or whatever. He just likes to fight for the thrill of it. And yeah, he's a destructive force. But again, if he is a problem, they'll stop him. Goku knows he likes fighting and he's not hell-bent on domination or whatever. And now Cell wants to explore the multiverse. Maybe even hold his own Cell games. The Tournament of Power was fun after all, but his games could be even better. Like, if he makes an improved version of the Cell games from before. He's sure he'll see them eventually. He then places 2 fingers on his forehead and teleports away. This is a new thing he learned from the Tournament of Power after he saw Yardratian do it. It's instant transmission. Well, hopefully he doesn't cause any issues. So what's next for Cell? Now he's out in space. He kinda wants to explore the multiverse and see if there's any other strong warriors. But first he's gonna explore this universe because he never got the opportunity to do that, and now that he could just teleport places, that'll be fun. He just locked onto a random key signature and went out there. A few months go by and eventually, he finds something interesting. There's a really strange power out in space that's just all alone. He teleports over to it. It's Moro. He ends up on Moro's ship. He just recently escaped prison. Of course, it's not like the two are gonna get along. Eventually this leads to a fight. Unfortunately for Moro, he's pretty weak right now, and even though he can steal power, well, he's stealing it from Cell, who also has his own way of stealing power. But Cell likes Moro's version of it better. Moro tries to take Cell's energy, and Cell simply stabs him and takes it back. And then some, draining what little power Moro has, and then getting his magical abilities on top of that. He wasn't really too interesting of an opponent, at least not at the moment because he doesn't know what Moro is truly capable of. But you know what? This gets him thinking. This guy was a prisoner with the Galactic Patrol, so maybe there's a lot of other strong prisoners. So he tries to search for that energy, and eventually finds the Galactic Patrol prison. He's gonna need a lot more power before he fights Goku, Vegeta, or Gohan again. He did promise to fight Gohan after all. And he does need his revenge against Vegeta too. So what better way to get stronger than to absorb some more people? Sure, he could train for this, but it'll take a while for him to catch up. And who knows how much further ahead they'll get. So he breaks into the prison, and the Galactic Patrol sees that one day, a lot of their prisoners are disappearing. They catch Cell in the act, but he's already done by the time they catch him. A huge chunk of the prisoners are gone. Anyone that Cell deemed as strong, well, they got absorbed. He tried to fight them for a little bit. And if anything, he's doing the Galactic Patrol a favor because they don't have to deal with these prisoners anymore. In his eyes, this is a good deed. And he laughs about it. The prisoners weren't particularly strong, but he did get some energy from them, and some of them had some pretty interesting abilities. And their various powers are now his. Notably, 7-3 is a part of him now, a fellow android, who can copy abilities much more effectively than Cell could before. And on top of that, he has access to magic now thanks to Moro. But he still needs to grow stronger, and maybe he could find someone else strong to fight out in space. So he spends some more time looking around, and one day he does come across a really strong power, deciding to teleport to it. And with that, we'll leave off here for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help with the channel, and it shows me you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.